Check, check. Hello, and welcome to the Sensory Percussion live stream. Let me know in the chat if if you can hear me. But my name is Patrick, and I'll be your guide today through all things sensory percussion. I think this is like the third one we've done in this series. And yeah, I see some familiar names and hopefully some new ones as well. But yeah, really, what's the last stream we did was sort of the first one since announcing our new cymbal sensors. So that was the focus, and those are still relatively new, and we'll still talk a lot about that. And I'll probably go over a lot of the same things we went over with those. But we also have a new sound pack, which is what you're seeing on the screen behind me in the software, which I will demo. And then we also just released a software update with a couple new features that I'll go over. Those are convolution reverb and new and improved metronome. So yeah, feel free to drop your questions in the chat, and I'll be sure to get to all of them. We also have some other members of the Sunhouse team in there. But I thought as people start joining, that maybe I'll just demo some of the cymbal sounds and maybe some of the full kit. And yeah, just go over the basics of the zones and how all the cymbal stuff works. We recently posted a ride cymbal spotlight that was just showing like a bunch of ride cymbals from the library, which got a good response from people, but also a lot of responses saying I wasn't hitting the cymbals hard enough. So people want to see them hit hard, which I'll be sure to do. And we've got some new sounds that are geared towards some harder hitters as well. So that's exciting. So I'll just go ahead and play some of the cymbals real quick. Again, feel free to drop your questions and I'll be sure to get to them. I'm going to mute my mic so that you're only hearing the output of sensory percussion, not the actual cymbals in the room here. Cool. So that was just one set of cymbals that comes with this preset. I'll hop over to one of the harder hitting ones maybe and try some of that. Check, check. Okay, so yeah, I'm not a metal drummer, but hopefully you get the idea with some of those. Let me look at the chat again. Mike has a low volume. Okay, can you check, 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 check? It's looking good on my end. But yeah, let me know if you can hear me. Cool. So these sounds come from a new sound pack we just released that's called Modern Acoustic Expansion. And it has sort of a generic name because it has like 3 different genres basically. There's modern pop, modern country, and metal preset. So I thought I would go through some of those and then maybe get into the new features because a lot of these, or a couple of them, are actually using some of the new features already. So right now we're looking at the play view of the kit, which gives us a nice overview. So you can see what instrument I'm hitting when I hit it. And you can see the name of that instrument here. We have HHX hi-hats and HHX thin crash. And then a Sabian. These are all Sabian. There's a lot of Sabian stuff in this pack. Artisan Elite Ride. And then we have WTS, which, if you're not familiar, I can't remember what it stands for. Something tuning system. It's the drums that have the special tuning. So this is the first modern pop one, which is more of like a cracking type of snare. Yeah, and before we move on to the next one, I'm just going to jump right into the new one of the new features, which is convolution reverb. It's a new effect which you can find in the effects panel here, which exists on every module. I'm just going to close these right here. So I already had one set up. So yeah, this preset actually already uses convolution reverb. Or actually, I should probably step back and go over what that is and how it differs from our existing reverb, because we've always had a reverb effect in our suite of effects, but convolution is sort of a specific type that uses an actual impulse response or like an acoustic recording in a given space, which is usually just a loud sound of some type, and it sort of like takes the sonic fingerprint of that space, the reverberations and echoes, and recreates it so you can apply that to any sound you want. So this one has a small studio applied to it. So this is completely dry, no reverb. This is wet. And we have a bunch of them. So like I said, this one already has a setup macro that comes with it, so you can quickly increase or decrease how much reverb you want. But I'm going to go ahead. I turned that one off, and I just added another one. This is sort of the default. It's a big one. And I'll just go over a few from the library of reverbs that we have. There's a lot of them. Reverse is a fun one. This is under the effects category, which is not as much modeling a space as it is like a given effect, but guitar amp. That one's a little more subtle. Some of the fun ones are some of the bigger, like halls. Let's see, St. Paul's Cathedral. Let's try that one. So yeah, that's pretty huge. Yeah, that one might sound cool with this next kit, which has a low and gushy snare. That is also all. These first 5 presets are all from our new sound pack that I just mentioned. So I'm going to go in convolution reverb and pick that St. Paul's Cathedral. Yeah, that sounds crazy. That's a fun one. Yeah, what else do we got? There's more kind of, small studio, sort of medium rooms that just give it a little bit of vibe. Also, we mentioned, I was talking about my vocal mic here. I'm going to go to just Sensory Percussion so you can see the full screen. And I'm actually running my vocal mic through Sensory Percussion, connecting it to the Evans Portal interface. And I have I've created an input down here. So I have all my sensor inputs and then my vocal mic analog input. And I'm also using a MIDI input to mute and unmute the mic. And this vocal mic is going through what we call the global set. So each of these is considered a set or a preset. And when I switch from one to the other, all the sounds change. But the global set is good for things that you want to be there all the time, like this vocal mic. So you can see the signal coming in as I'm talking. So might be fun to do some convolution reverb on my vocal mic. You can get some really crazy effects. Hello. Check, check. Cool. So I don't know. I just wanted to show that. But yeah, so convolution reverb is kind of a big addition. I didn't show some of the spring reverbs. Those might be fun. Spring tight. Might be better on this one, honestly. be more like sort of a Motown type of thing. Even that, it's set to 30, 33% is maybe a little too wet. But yeah, you have control over all kinds of parameters about that reverb. So yeah, I mean, I could go through all of them, but hopefully you get the idea there. I'm going to go to the chat here because it seems like there's a lot of questions. How does a cymbal sensor work? Is it piezo? Cool. So wow, I'm behind on some of these. But someone asked basically generally how do the cymbal sensors work, and my colleague has chimed in saying they're electromagnetic, just like the drum sensors, more like a guitar pickup. Which yeah, that's true. So instead of like a typical drum trigger or an electronic cymbal where the signal that it's picking up is either some sort of like analog voltage spike or something, and then that might get go to one of those E drum ins or somehow get converted to MIDI, and then you have 0 to 127, and you basically have 128 levels of velocity or expression. What the drum sensors and the cymbal sensors are doing is they are sort of like microphones, and they are processing the actual audio that's coming in and doing real-time analysis on that audio to detect timbre, among other things. But what we call timbre detection is really what allows it to differentiate. For example, I can hit it, like it goes beyond positional sensing, essentially. So we have a bell tip zone and a bell shoulder zone, and I can hit the exact same spot with two different gestures. And because the audio actually sounds different in real life, I can get two different zones on the other end because it's doing the timbre detection and it's classifying this is bell tip. Oh, let me turn this effect off. This is bell tip. I'll turn my mic off too. And this is bell shoulder. So even though I'm hitting the exact same spot on the cymbal, I can get two different sounds due to the timbre detection. Cool. Method of sensing hi-hat vibrations is brilliant. Heck, underground sound. I'm just reading some of the chat here. Someone has a question about crosstalk with some of the sets, especially the PGB cymbals. They're getting crosstalk between the ride cymbal and kick/snare sensors. So yeah, I can go over various ways to deal with crosstalk. So yeah, you mentioned I think crosstalk between the ride and the snare. Let me check. Ride cymbal and kick and snare sensors. Yeah, there can be a number of reasons for that and a number of ways to deal with it. But especially the like high end stuff can sometimes get confused, like the rims and cymbals. So on a super basic level, let's say I'm actually getting crosstalk right now because I'm hitting the tom rim and it's triggering the snare rim. So one quick way to deal with that is when I hit the tom, you can see these incoming hits here. This red line is a threshold. So everything underneath the red line gets ignored. So when I hit the tom rim, they're coming in under the threshold now. When I hit the snare rim, that's what I actually want. So that's a quick way to deal with it. But sometimes you want to keep your threshold super low. So especially for a snare, because you might want to be doing these, buzz rolls and really quiet hits. So there's like 2 or 3 additional ways to deal with it. One of them, if you click on this advanced, this crosstalk reduction, I have it set like 70 or 80%, but I can put it to 100. That is good for particularly this kind of thing between cymbals and rims and the sort of high frequency stuff. So I'm getting fewer hits confused there, even with my super low threshold. So yeah, I would definitely suggest increasing this crosstalk reduction parameter. And finally, we also have a special zone that's called void. And that's basically teaching it what to ignore. So right now I don't have this zone trained, but I can train it. So this is the snare input. So I'm telling the snare input to ignore this type of hit, which is coming from the tom. And I suggest, or we all suggest, don't overtrain this. Like I just got a couple of hits in there, and now you can see it's triggering that void zone instead of the snare rim zone. So these are the rim hits I do want. These are the rim hits I don't want. The hi-hat seems to be completely ignored. I think it's really just I have them like super close physically. Yeah, I would also check like if you have your input gain super cranked all the way, then a tiny, very quiet crosstalk can be amplified and become more problematic, So if you can help it, I'd keep it in a more sort of moderate range. And yeah, hopefully that helps with crosstalk. That applies to all kinds of inputs, drums, snare, tom, kick, cymbal, etc. Okay, I'm interested in how your software addresses hi-hat openness and smooths, interpolates the minute changes in foot pressure. Cool, yeah, so that's kind of a big one with electronic hi-hats that has been a difficult nut to crack for everyone. Is maybe you have the zones, but there's just so many degrees of open and closed. So someone was asking basically how does that work with detecting minute changes in the foot pressure? Because basically there's no open or closed zone. On the hi-hat and on all the cymbals, we have 5 zones: bow, edge, bell tip, and bell shoulder. And ping. Sorry, that's the 5th one. So there's no open or closed zones, but basically opening and closing the hi-hat is like a modifier on any zone. So if you go into your hi-hat input, let me change the view so I'm not covering it up. You can get a better idea of how that's happening. We have this tension editor, we call it, over here. So basically all the way to the right is fully closed, all the way to the left is fully open, and you can see it move through it as I move from open to closed. And there's basically three things you can control: the crossing point where it goes from open to close. So if it was feeling like you were getting to open a little bit too fast or too easily, you can move the crossing point this way to make it stay closed for longer. And then you can also adjust these endpoints to sort of make the range smaller, so that I had this a little bit. I had the crossing point moved a little bit over here, and I had this moved a little bit over here, because I like to have it sound closed even if I'm not pushing like super hard. Yeah, so basically the way that it's doing that in a more technical sense is kind of the same thing that I described earlier of timbre detection. It's hearing the incoming audio and classifying how open and closed it is based on that audio. So if you want to see how that sort of translates to samples, you can look at a hi-hat module here, and this yellow line sort of shows you what's going on. So this is the bow zone, and right now you can see it's playing the all the way closed. As I open it, it's gonna go to all the way open. And I think you mentioned something about like smoothing. A lot of that is sort of just calculated internally, but spread will kind of make it a little more smooth. It basically means like if spread is all the way down, then you're just gonna get like one zone at a time. And as you increase the spread, you'll kind of hear more. You know, it'll kind of trigger multiple zones at once. Cool. So yeah, in our library, this open closed thing is basically exclusively already set up to move through samples that are going from closed samples to open samples, but you can also use that same concept to control almost anything in the software. So I think I have something. This is kind of a wild tangent and departure, but this one controls some. Oh wait, controls some effects based. Actually, it's this derangement effect specifically. You can see it up here or down here. These are kind of the same thing. They're connected. So that effect is controlled by the hi-hat, but it's being applied to the entire kit. Um, and yeah, you can do that same thing. A common one we like to show is transpose on like the entire kit. Um, I'll try it on this modern country one. So this group module has has the entire set inside of it. So when I move this transpose, it affects everything. So I'm going to turn off quantize. So this is what I want to control with my hi-hat. And if you were tuning into any of the other streams, we went over assignments and something kind of similar to this already, but that is basically how you control anything in sensory percussion is make an assignment on it via right click. I'm going to do new assignments, virtual inputs, and I'm going to choose hi-hat, which is hi-hat 1. And velocity is the default assignment. So when I play quietly, the pitch is low. I play loud, the pitch is high. And the hi-hat is the source of that, but I'm going to change it from velocity to pedal, which is sort of the open-closed thing. So yeah, right now it's closed is super high pitched, open is super low pitched. I guess I'll keep it that way, but I'm gonna change the range so it's not quite so extreme. From what is that, -8 to +9 semitones. Yeah, so the left foot thing is just really fun. It's sort of like a new method of expression and modulation that is available now with sensory percussion cymbal sensors. Okay, I'm just catching up on some of the messages in the chat. Interested in triggering cymbals on VSTs such as Easy Drummer, Superior Drummer? Are there templates for these VSTs, especially for hi-hat setup? Yes. Yeah, so basically no matter what VST you're controlling from sensory percussion, the way to do that is sending MIDI. So without getting too into the weeds, I'll just show the super basics of how that works. But we do currently have some templates, which maybe we can link to. They're shared on the Sunhouse forum, which are mostly for Superior Drummer. And we've got some stuff in the works that is a little bit even more prepackaged and just plug and play as far as sending out MIDI to different VSTs. But a lot of them, like in Superior Drummer, it's like either you change, if it's expecting a certain MIDI note, you can change sensory percussion to match that MIDI note, or you can change it in the VST receiving the MIDI note to align. Align with what is being sent. But yeah, just super, super fast. I have a blank set here. I'm going to add module, and what we want is a MIDI notes generator. We can also send CCs. That is how you would control like open closed, but just super basic notes. I'll choose. Well, we're talking about cymbals, so I'll choose cymbal 1. Um, so it's just sending C3 from the bow, uh, and I can add more zones, and you can see each of these zones have a MIDI note associated with it, which you can easily just change. And yeah, our templates basically use this and just match the expected MIDI note values to whatever VST. Um, so yeah, you can use the internal sounds in Sensory Percussion, or you can use it to sort of just turn your drums into like a more flexible sort of MIDI controller and send it to external VSTs or external hardware even. Um, so yeah, hopefully that answers your question. How is it that I don't observe any mistriggering? Oh, well, thanks. You seem to have perfected the alchemy system to not. Yeah, I mean, it's the mistriggering. It's really a matter of just dialing things in your training and like how complicated you want to get with your sounds. You know, the more zones and the more stuff you have going, the more likely you are to accidentally hit something you shouldn't. But yeah, really, I think the secret is that you can teach it exactly how you play. So if you play your rim shot center in a sort of weird way, then it will learn that and it will adapt so that when you hit it with that gesture and that timbre, you're getting a rim shot center sound. Even if that wasn't what, that's not like the platonic ideal of a rim shot center. How to set up an external trigger to trigger a kick in multiple velocity. Um, that, yeah, someone's asking how to use an external trigger. Um, Probably the easiest way. I mean, basically, you're not going to get nearly as many zones, or you might just get one zone if you just connect a third-party regular trigger. Um, but yeah, really quickly, I'll just show you can. The way I would do it is if you specifically have a kick trigger and like one of those really portable ones, like you don't even want to use an actual drum, and you just want uh, one sound or one zone, is create a kick sensor input and sort of train your first you'd connect the trigger itself to the Evans Portal interface, um, and then basically just train it as a sensor input and just have one zone. And the velocity sensitivity is that's by default. That's just going to be in there, and our sampler listens to incoming velocity and scales the gain accordingly, so you don't really have to set anything up to get velocity levels. Um, cool. So yeah, there's a lot of questions in the chat, and I think hopefully that went over some of the bigger ones. My colleagues are also in there answering some stuff, but I might get back to new sounds and new features. So I think I briefly mentioned. Well, first maybe I'll just go through all the new kits. We've got modern pop. Which this one uses a lot of the WTS toms and Sabian HHX cymbals. This one also uses a lot of those same brands, but has this low. And yeah, the Sabian HHXs that come with this is like a full line of them, I believe. So there's 17-inch, 19-inch, 20. I guess maybe I can just give a complete list here. Crashes 19, 18, 20, and a 17. 19-inch ride, 21-inch ride, and then the HHX 14-inch hi-hats as well. So yeah, it's got a whole line of them. This modern country uses a bunch of Ludwig samples, a Black Beauty snare that I really like, and accompanying toms. So you could play a little train beat. And this one comes with 2 snares. So I'm going to change snare 1 to snare 2. And this one is recorded with brooms, actually, like those big bundles. So. So I'm going to change that back to snare 1, and then what we call modern amalgam kit, which is, sort of a grab bag of a bunch of that stuff. And then finally, we have what's called NK metal drums, because these were recorded by Evans artist Naveen Copperwise, who's an awesome metal drummer and Sensory Percussion user. Again, not a metal drummer, but. Okay, got a little carried away with that one, but that is very fun to play, even if you're not a metal drummer. One other major feature that I've alluded to is that came out with this last software update, 2.6.7, is the revamped metronome. Whoops. A little bit of a spoiler alert there, because it's already on. So, if you're an existing user, you might already be aware of the fact that there is a Metro object or a Metro controller, which was pretty limited in its features. So we went in and made that hopefully a lot more useful and robust and musical, I might venture to say. So I'll just go over some of the basics. you can see I have this clave sound in there already. So it works like the old Metro controller and like any other module in Sensory Percussion, in that you put the sound that you want the metronome to play inside of the module. So I just have this clave sound. I'll turn it on. So you have this tempo controller, which was always there, and this can be assigned to whatever. So if you want to go crazy and do LFO, that is a little bit crazy. But yeah, this button turns it on and off, and then you have tap tempo, so I'll go faster. I'm just tapping my keyboard to get that. I'll go slower. And so beats is basically the number of beats per measure, sort of like the top number in a time signature. The default is 4, but I'll add 5. So you can see up here, there's now 5 of these little yellow indicators. And yeah, so beats is sort of like the downbeats, and this dial as you can hear, that adjusts the volume of the downbeats. And then down here is the subdivision, which is sort of like the upbeats. I'm adjusting that volume now, so now we're just hearing the downbeat. Right? So we can try eighth note triplets. So yeah, so like if I had this completely turned off, that's kind of the same as if I had it set to quarter notes and had it up all the way. Is now we're just hearing the quarter notes, the downbeats. So those are the more like sort of classic metronome style behaviors you can get. But there's a lot more fun stuff that happens when you add more than one sample. So I just grabbed some random stuff from the library, and you can open up this matrix, and this is where it starts to get kind of more into drum machine and or sequencer type of territory, is these output modes. So this is beat mode, which sort of picks one sample to start off and then plays all the others. We've got layers. Cycle is sort of what it sounds like. I'll go a little bit faster maybe. And I might actually pick some different samples. That clave is getting old. So I'll delete the clave. Let's try this kick drum. I'm going to start from scratch. So we've got a kick, maybe a hi-hat, and a clap. So yeah, right now it's set to cycle, so it just kind of cycles through. There's only four beats, but if I change the number of beats or increase the number of bars, you'll kind of get a better idea of the cycling. Yeah, so then beat. pulse. That's pretty straightforward. All just plays all of them. And then custom is basically just letting you do it yourself. And that's kind of where it gets into more like drum sequencing type of thing. So I'm going to put the kick drum at the bottom and just make sort of a sequence here. So now it's kind of sounding like a beat. Yeah, so I had, in this global set, I actually had a metronome here. So this is, example of one thing you could do is just have your metronome going in the global set as you move through these different presets, and you're just practicing along the click. Cool. So I'll turn that off. And yeah, again, that was more of just like a normal, typical metronome type of use case. But I have a couple here that are more fun. This is like some hand drum stuff. And then this one is really cool. So this, it's got chords involved. It's got a bunch of stuff. So it's kind of like playing along to a loop, or just listening to a loop. So I'll pull in some other sounds and play along to it. So yeah, this metronome is a lot more musical than it used to be. And yeah, you can really kind of get more into an actual structure and drum machine type of stuff, sequencing type of stuff. We also, this is new with this latest software update, is this monitor mix button. And basically what this does is it sends it automatically to whatever output has this monitoring on selected. Yeah, so you can really go crazy with a lot of the new hi-hat stuff, or sorry, the new Metro stuff. I didn't go over, I think I went over pretty much everything other than this control mode. Let me know if there were any questions about anything metronome related that I just went over. But so right now I have this block hits thing is on, which basically means, I'll mute this, that I'm not playing any of this stuff when I hit it. But if I turn block hits off, now I'm actually playing some of this. Let's turn that off. And yeah, so this sort of relates to the control mode where, so I have none selected. If I do start, that means when I hit it, it's going to start the metronome. Turn it off. Restart means, oh yeah, I guess I should have demoed that it's only so there's some static coming in on my vocal mic. Check, check. I don't think I changed anything. But yeah, I mean, you can see I'm processing it all in Sensory Percussion. I don't have any other DAW or anything open to do the recording or run the vocal mic through, but hopefully it's sounding okay. Where was I? Oh yeah, so this metronome is set to start, control mode start, so I hit it once, it starts, and then every hit after that doesn't affect the metronome. So restart will start it, but then also restart it every time I hit it. Maybe it's easier to hear on some of these. So I'll do restart. Let's try restart. And then finally, toggle is sort of what it sounds like. It turns it on and off. Cool. So any questions specifically about the metronome? Let me look at the chat, see if there's any recommendation regarding the size of real cymbals used along with cymbal sensors. Noticed that my 20-inch ride is more accurate than 22-inch. Yeah, so that's essentially correct, is that a lot of the majority of the training that went into the models for the cymbal sensors were done on these exact Evans DB1 low volume sensors. So that's why those come with the whole eKit package, and those are what we, guarantee super accurate full performance with. But part of this new software update is actually updating the models, and we now have more training data in there with regular acoustic cymbals, and then also L80 low volume cymbals. So it should work better now with all that stuff. But generally, yeah, the closer to this cymbal or one of these cymbals your acoustic cymbal is, the better the performance. So if you have a bunch of rivets or modifications or something crazy, then it might you might not get complete accuracy. But there are artists out there using it on gigs, and if you look at the Luke Titus video we did, we shot that back in January, I think. He used it on acoustic cymbals and was getting, playing some melodic stuff when he hit the bell of his, regular acoustic cymbal, but not anything when he hit any other zone. So yeah, we definitely encourage you to experiment and are open to, or definitely want to hear feedback on all that stuff. Is it possible? Cool. Well, yeah, it seems like I've got a lot of the main questions answered there. I was having fun playing along to this one, this Metro. So maybe I can go out on that. But I thought something fun we did last time was I sampled myself through this vocal mic using the built-in recording feature in Sensory Percussion, and then brought that back in and messed with it. So I thought maybe we could do something along those lines again. Whoops. You always got to be careful putting your sticks down on something when there's when it's gonna trigger stuff. Cool. So yeah, I have some doodads over here, and in case you're not familiar, Sensory Percussion also has a built-in record function, which is this red button here, and it allows you to just quickly, come up with ideas and remember them for later, and then pull them back in, etc. So I've got some gadgets here. Maybe I'll add this to what I'm doing to play along to this loop. So I'm just going to hit the red record button. I'll get one more. Cool. So that automatically puts it in a recordings folder, and check. Let me know if you guys are still hearing me out there. Check. Looks all good on my end. Anyone in the chat can hear me? Cool. Well, I think we're all good. So yeah, that recordings folder is bookmarked here inside of Sensory Percussion, so I don't even need to leave to access that. What I recorded is just right here. So I can press play. And I'm going to go in and trim that sample. Cool. And let's say I want this, I'm going to add it to my snare and just put it on the rim. So right now, anywhere I hit is going to play that. But I can go group into snare drum pads, and then right now it's assigned to the center, but not any of the other zones. So I'm going to assign it to rim tip and rim shoulder. And we'll turn it on. anyway, that's something I just, recorded quickly, but could keep processing that, could even pitch it up and down. So let's just try that. I will choose random. So now it's going to randomly move through a scale. And that scale right now is set to chromatic. I don't really know what key these chords are in, so maybe I'll just do pentatonic major. And I'm going to add some glide to it. Maybe it's a little too crazy now, but let's try it. Cool. So yeah, again, that was just something I recorded super quickly and would probably want to spend more time on. But yeah, you can see how built-in recording can be useful for that sort of thing. Let me check the chat. Was there any questions on how any of that worked? Recording, anything like that? Cool. Well, yeah. Hopefully that gives you an idea of the new expansion to our acoustic library, as well as the expansion on the effects available, convolution reverb being a big one. And yeah, I just want to, where'd I go? Cool. Just want to thank all of you for tuning in, and hopefully we got to all of your questions, but if not, feel free to write into support@Sunhouse, or hit us up on Instagram. We've got the Sunhouse forum, and we'll definitely be sure to get to all your questions, and let us know what type of things you'd like to see covered in the next ones, because we're trying to get more a regular rhythm going with this. And yeah, curious if there's people, oh right, so we have this poll, level of familiarity. So yeah, if you're here to just learn more and learn about the basics, let us know. We also just published a getting started in the software tutorial that goes over just the super basics of the software, so we can share that link here. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.